The South Bay takes on the East Bay. Coming up next on Quiz Kids.
It's the Bay Area Quiz Kids. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Quiz Kids. Let's meet our teams for today. First, from Fremont, the Mission San Jose Warriors. And they are taking on San Jose's own Bellarmine Bells. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's begin with the 3-for-all and your first toss-up question for 10 points. This American published the collection Tulips and Chimneys. Yes, Samir?
Cummings?
E.E. Cummings is correct for 25 points. Most of Cummings' poems are in what form that avoids consistent rhyme or meter?
Blank. Free verse.
That is right for 50 points. Cummings wrote a poem that sings of what conscientious objector, glad and big, whose heart recoiled at war?
Olaf.
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. An apex one of these is not Philip.
Predator.
That is right, a predator for 25 points. What term denotes organisms like vultures that feed on dead and or decaying matter?
Scavengers.
That is right for 25 points. And for 50 points, most food webs contain both producers, such as plants capable of self-nourishment, and what organisms that consume organic compounds from other sources?
So detritivores? Detritivores.
No, I'm sorry, we're looking for heterotrophs. Heterotrophs. Next toss-up. This character grows up and has children in 2 sequels authored by Charles Tritton. Yes, Philip?
Holden Caulfield?
No. Listen to this for the Steel Bellarmine. Johanna Spiri created which orphaned girl who lived with her grandfather in the Alps?
Like Carrie or something.
Carrie?
Carrie. No, her name was Heidi. Here's your next toss-up. The Arab Spring started when Mohammed Bouazizi Samir.
Tunisia?
Yes, set himself on fire in his homeland, Tunisia. For 25 points, in which neighbor of Tunisia was ruler Muammar Gaddafi killed by rebel forces in October 2011?
Libya.
Right, for 50 points. Weapons and Tuareg fighters returning from the Libyan civil war stoked a simmering conflict in what other African nation?
Morocco, Tuaregs?
Yeah, I think so.
Morocco?
No, Mali. Mali.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's stop here with 25 for Mission San Jose, 75 for Bellarmine, and meet our teams. Over here we have Philip Kai, a senior from Mission San Jose, and you are part of the robotics team.
Yes, I'm wearing the shirt right now.
You're wearing the shirt. Cool. And what is it that you guys have to build this year?
This year we have to build a robot that has to put blocks in a pendulum to balance it out.
Wow. Well, good luck to you with that. That'll always be exciting and fun. Krishna Barathala, you're also a senior, and you were on that other quiz show that we try not to mention by name here, starring you-know-who.
Yeah.
What was that experience like on Jeopardy?
Yeah, so 2 years ago I was on Jeopardy, and we filmed in Los Angeles as well as Washington, D.C., and it was a really fun
You got
experience.
to go to D.C. as well.
Yes, we got to go to D.C. as well.
Well, what was your score at the end? You don't have to tell me if you won or lost, but what was your score?
I had 20-something thousand at the end of the second round.
Fantastic. Kelvin Liu, you're a junior, and you are very much into model rocketry.
Yes, I'm on a model rocketry team, and we've been building one since summer.
How high do they go?
We can go up to 825 feet. That's what we're aiming for, but we can make them go even higher.
But they never break.
Never break.
Good for you. Well, good luck, you guys. Let's say hi to the Bells and Jarek Jankowski, a junior who wants to be an architect. What kind of architecture do you like, Jarek?
Yeah, I've been mostly focusing on classical, like Greek and Roman and Renaissance architecture.
So you like to build big, old-fashioned buildings?
Yes.
Well, good luck to you. Maybe you might build me a home, a mansion, with my salary. Samir Rai, you're a senior, and you love Tom and Jerry, the cartoon, classic cartoon. Are you a Tom fan or a Jerry fan?
I'm very much a Jerry fan.
Okay, so now you have to tell me which is the cat and which is the mouse.
Tom is the cat, and Jerry is the mouse.
And why do you like Jerry?
Well, I like Jerry because he's sort of like the underdog, or rather, the under-mouse.
Sure, I gave you that joke. Now we're moving on. John Chikao, you're a junior, and you love tea, not coffee. All your friends are drinking lattes, but you're drinking tea. Why is that?
Well, I just started drinking tea a few years back, and I really liked it. So,
Favorite tea?
I drink any tea.
Any tea. That's such an interesting answer. Thank you, John Tree. We're going to move on to the next toss-up question. Gentlemen, here we go. The best tea, no, I'm kidding. Elliot Rosen on EastEnders and Sarah Gordy on Upstairs, Downstairs are British actors with this condition. Lauren Potter, who plays Becky Jackson on Glee, also has what condition? Kelvin.
Down syndrome.
Correct. For 25 points, Luke Zimmerman, who also has Down syndrome, plays Tom Bowman on which ABC Family series about Amy Jurgens?
I don't know this.
Modern, you want to go with Modern Family? Or
All right,
something?
go. Do
All
it.
right, Modern Family.
No, I think it's adorable they thought you would watch The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Here's your next toss-up. During World War I, this country joined Russia and Britain in the Triple Entente. Yes, Krishna.
France.
Correct. Which World War I hero, known by his rank of Marshal, would go on to lead Vichy France during World War II?
It's not Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle.
De Gaulle. De Gaulle.
De Gaulle.
No, it was Marshal Pétain.
Nope.
Next toss-up. Systems of linear equations can be solved by manipulating their... Yes, Philip?
Matrices?
That is correct. For 25 points, what kind of square matrix has ones on its main diagonal and zeros everywhere else?
Identity.
That is right. For 50 points, what do we call a square matrix that's equal to its transpose?
Inverted? No, probably not.
Symmetric.
Symmetric. Do symmetric.
Symmetric.
Yes, for 50 points. Listen to your teammate. Your next toss-up. The original score of this C-sharp minor piano sonata. Yes, Janshi.
Moonlight.
That is right, the Moonlight Sonata. For 25 points, which 1805 symphony originally dedicated to Napoleon has a funeral march as its second movement?
Eroica.
Eroica, yes. And for 50 points, in which opera, Beethoven's only one, does Leonore disguise herself as the title character to save her husband, Florestan?
Fidelio.
Fidelio for 50 points is right. Next toss-up. This American multinational formed by a 1999 merger acquired Canada's Celtic Exploration in 2013. By revenue, what energy company is the world's largest corporation? Krishna.
Shell.
No. You can steal, Bellarmine.
So like Enron or like Exxon.
ExxonMobil.
That is right.
Yeah.
For 25 points, which Anglo-Dutch multinational is trying to expand its extractions from the Jackpine oil sands in Canada?
Anglo-Dutch. So
BP.
sure.
BP.
No, that's Shell. All right. Next toss-up. The composer of the Goldberg Variations wrote, yes, Samir.
J.S. Bach.
That is right. For 25 points, which collection of keyboard music by Bach includes preludes and fugues in all 24 major and minor keys?
Hammer clavier.
Well-tempered.
Or
clavier.
well-tempered clavier. The well-tempered clavier.
Correct. For 50 points. They share their name with the famous Gate. Bach presented which collection of 6 instrumental works to Margrave Christian Ludwig?
Brandenburg concertos.
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. This sculpture is in a namesake memorial designed by Henry Bacon. Daniel Chester Samir.
The Lincoln, seated Lincoln in Lincoln Memorial.
Yes. For 25 points, another depiction of Lincoln is this artist's head of Lincoln in the Capitol Rotunda. Who's better known as the creator of Mount Rushmore?
Borglum. Borglum.
Correct. For 50 points, each state is allowed to honor how many of its citizens with sculptures in the Capitol's National Statuary Hall collection?
It's 2, right?
Yeah,
I think it's 2.
2.
2.
It is 2 for 50 points. Here's your final toss-up question. They relate heroic deeds, histories of civilizations, and acts of the gods. What's the name of these? Yes, Philip.
Epics?
Correct. For 25 points, what other kind of poem, whose name also begins with E, is a lament for people who are dead? Thomas Gray wrote one in a country churchyard.
Elegy.
You're right. And for 50 points, which word with classical roots is a celebration of a new bride to be read on her way to the wedding chamber? Edmund Spenser wrote a notable one in 1595.
Fairy Queen, right? Isn't that what Spencer did?
I don't know what it's called.
And your answer?
I don't know.
Fairy Queen.
Fairy Queen.
Oh, it's an epithalamion. Okay. And that's the end of the round. 120 for San Jose, 235 for Bellarmine. We'll be right back.
And now it's time to meet the Quiz Kids. Once again, here's Brad.
Welcome back. Let's give a big hand to the coaches for both teams. First from Mission San Jose, Mr. Charlie Brucker. And from Bellarmine, Chris Fleetus. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All right, it's time for the catch-up round. We're going to start with Mission San Jose. There are 7 clues in each category, and each question is worth 30 points. You need 4 answers, correct answers, to take the lead, and you can keep going from there. Today, we have 3 letters to choose from. All the answers will end with that letter. Would you like A, C, or G?
C.
N?
C. C.
C?
Ends with C.
Okay. Oh, begins with.
Begins with.
Let's go with G then.
If you want.
Yeah, begins with G.
Begins with G. All right, here you go. First question. This limestone rock occupied by Barbary macaques is one of the pillars of Hercules.
Do we not know this?
No, we do not know this.
Do you know?
Did you?
Limestone.
And your
rock.
answer?
Granite.
No, it's Gibraltar, the Rock of Gibraltar.
Right.
He was the British king who ruled during the American Revolution.
George III.
George III.
Correct. This phase of matter is what results from sublimation and evaporation.
Gas.
That's right. You need two more. This is the largest moon of Jupiter.
Ganymede.
Correct. One more. This former Speaker of the House now appears as a panelist on CNN's Crossfire.
Former Speaker of the
Former
House.
Speaker of the House. I have no idea.
There's Pelosi. There's a vote painter. Who's
And your
before
answer?
that? Jerry.
No, it's Newt Gingrich.
Oh, wow.
You still need one more. In the 19th century, he led the Red Shirts during Italian unification.
Garibaldi.
You've taken the lead. And finally, the treaty ending the War of 1812 was named for this city.
Ghent.
You've got 270 points. You're in the lead, and there are 2 questions you need to get right in order to take the lead back and win this match. So, will it be A or C, Bellarmine?
Which one should we pick?
C.
Let's go with C. C.
Go with C. All right. Only 2 questions. This greenhouse gas results from the fermentation of glucose into ethanol.
Carbon dioxide.
You need one more. He is the only U.S. president to have been married to a Secretary of State.
I want to say Coolidge.
Yeah. Or Clinton. Clinton.
Okay.
Clinton.
Boy, you barely deserve that one, but you win the game. Thank you, gentlemen. Bellarmine wins this game. We'll see you both next week, and we'll see you in a few minutes for another match. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's time for match number 2, and let's meet our 2 new teams. First from San Mateo, the Crystal Springs Upland Griffins. And in this corner from Atherton, the Menlo School Knights. Gentlemen, let's start with the first toss-up question in the three-for-all. Here you go. He captained Apollo 14 and became the 5th man to walk on the moon. In 1961, which man became the first American in space? Henry.
John Glenn.
No, I'm sorry. You can steal, Menlo.
Smith.
No, it was Alan Shepard. Here's your next toss-up. The southern extension of this trade route passed through the Karakoram Mountains. Which route from China to Europe? Elliot.
The Silk Road.
That is correct. It's named for a luxury fabric. For 25 points, the Silk Road rose to prominence during which Chinese dynasty that shares its name with the largest ethnic group in China?
Han.
That is right. And for 50 points, one branch of the Silk Road passed through what city in modern Uzbekistan that was the capital of Tamerlane's empire?
Samarkand.
You got 50 points. Here's your next toss-up. He often collaborated with his lyricist brother, Ira, an American in Paris, and Andrew.
Gershwin.
That is right. For 25 points, a clarinet glissando opens what Gershwin work that for many works was used in ads for United Airlines?
Rhapsody in Blue.
That is right. And for 50 points, Rumba was the original title of which Gershwin overture that uses bongos and maracas to evoke its namesake Caribbean country?
Let's go.
Jamaica.
No, it was the Cuban overture. Next toss-up. Singers in this vocal range include Jose Carreras, Placido Domingo, and Luciano. Yes, Andrew.
Tenor.
Right. Pavarotti is known for his performance of which aria from Puccini's Turandot, whose title translates as None Shall Sleep?
Do you have any?
Come on, opera fans, tell me the answer.
I knew he was a tenor.
Ndorm Pa.
Very sweet. It's Nessun Dorma. All right, let's stop for a minute. We have 85 for Crystal Springs, and Menlo is yet to get on the board, but we're going to meet our teams from Crystal Springs Uplands. We're going to start with Andrew McMillan. You're a senior, and you're a big TV watcher and TV binger. What are you binging lately?
The Wire currently.
Wow, that's something that people like to binge. What do you love about The Wire?
I love how it gives different perspectives, first from the side of the law and then from the side of the criminals. I don't know of any other TV shows that do it as well, that blend the different kinds of psyches.
A lot of people agree with you, so you recommend The Wire to our public. Henry Rule, you're a junior, and a few years ago you decided to take up fiddling for fun. You've been playing the violin for how long?
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years, and you play at school.
Yes,
But
indeed.
you like to play around the house. Why?
Yeah. Well, it's a soothing thing, and Scottish and Irish music is lots of fun.
Oh, you
It's-
do like some Irish and Scottish music.
Oh, yes.
Did
Oh,
your
yes.
mother ever tell you to
Celtic
stop
music.
fiddling about the house?
Then I go to the roof.
Then you go to. I'm not even going to go there. Go to the roof. Elliot Owen, you are a self-avowed chocolate hipster.
That is true. I belong to a chocolate cult. We taste things like habanero sea salt and mixtures of cinnamon, nutmeg, and other exotic flavors, and you come up with the most pretentious adjectives you can.
That's really interesting, but how are you so skinny?
It's only open on the weekends.
That really angers me. Good luck to you, though. Menlo Knights, Christopher Cassidy. Speaking of candy, you are a candy maker.
Yes, in our chemistry class, we were trying to separate sugar from water by evaporating off the water, but we turned the heat up too much and we decomposed our sugar. So I decided that I wanted to perfect the process and make candy the right way at home, and I did.
And you did, although you've never made candy so unappetizing as I've heard just now. Heidi Hiro Anto, you're a senior, and over winter break you took a trip to Carmel, one of my parents' favorite places, kind of their place. What did you like about Carmel?
So, two of the highlights were the great food and just the great views. We also went to Point Lobos. And
Yeah,
it was
did all the touristy stuff and had a
Yeah.
good time.
It's really
17-mile
nice.
drive, things
17
like
mile,
that.
yes.
Good, you did Carmel right. Sean Morgenthaler, you are a senior, and recently, last summer, you did an internship at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View.
You're correct, sir.
And what was that like?
It was a lot of fun. I worked as a docent and a gallery interpreter, and I toured people around the museum and elucidated on the various
Recommend
artifacts.
people go see that museum?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for you. All right, guys. Let's go back to the game and our next toss-up question, and it's this. In 1968, he declined an offer to become Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Who was the former Republican governor of New York who had been favored to win the election of 1948? Andrew.
Dewey.
That is right. For 25 points, although the Chicago Daily Tribune reported otherwise, Dewey was actually defeated by which incumbent president?
Truman.
Yes, and for 50 points. In 1947, Truman enacted which program, named for his Secretary of State, that aimed to stop the spread of communism by rebuilding the economies of Western Europe?
The Marshall Plan.
You got 50 points. Your next toss-up. Who used the margin of a text by Diophantus to describe his eponymous last theorem? Heidi Hiro.
Fermat.
That is right. For 25 points, Fermat's last theorem states that a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n is not true for values of n greater than what integer?
2.
Correct. For 50 points, Fermat's little theorem states that if p is prime, then for all integers n to the p is congruent to what value modulo p?
N.
I didn't get that at all, but you did for 50 points. If I read them right, people think I'm smart. That's great. Next toss-up. Biomolecules of a certain class typically have names ending in ASE. Christopher.
Enzymes.
That is right. For 25 points, one exception to the naming rule is pepsin, an enzyme secreted by which digestive organ?
Probably pancreas. Pancreas?
No, it is the stomach.
Yeah, it's
Next toss-up. Consider a right triangle whose legs have lengths of 7 and 24. Heidi Hiro.
25?
Is the length of the hypotenuse. That's right. For 25 points, like 3, 4, 5, 7, 24, 25 is what kind of triple that takes its name from an ancient formula?
Pythagorean triple. Pythagorean triple.
Right, for 50 points. According to a theorem by Euclid, if the middle number of a Pythagorean triple is odd, what's true of the largest number?
Is it even?
Your answer?
It's even?
It's always even for 50 points. Next toss-up. The Oresteia is the only surviving example of a Greek trilogy that was originally performed together. Name its author. Heidi Hiro.
Aeschylus.
That is right. For 25 points, the first play in the Oresteia is named for which Greek king who returns from the Trojan War only to be killed by his wife Clytemnestra?
Agamemnon.
Correct. For 50 points, Agamemnon's son Orestes kills Clytemnestra in which second play in the trilogy?
The libation bearers. The libation bearers.
And you got 50 points. And that is the end of the round. 135 for Crystal Springs. Menlo's 160. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, we're back, and let's put our hands together for the coaches for both teams. First, from Crystal Springs Uplands, Miss Kelly Sortino. And from Menlo School, Mr. Richard Steinberg. Thank you, coaches, so much. All right, gentlemen, it's time for the catch-up round. Crystal Springs, you only need one 30-point answer to take the lead, and each category has 7 questions, so you can take a big lead. You just have to pick a letter. Today's letters are K, N, or S. It's just a letter.
S.
S. Here we go. Here's your first question. Team 6 is probably the best-known group of these Navy Special Forces.
Oh, yeah.
Seals.
And you've taken the lead. It's the aquatic bird named in the title of a Tchaikovsky ballet.
Swan.
That's right. Helios drove the chariot of this celestial body.
The sun.
That is right. This state's governor, Mark Sanford, was replaced by the U.S.'s second Indian-American governor, Nikki Haley.
South Carolina.
That is right. This region of Russia saw the 1908 Tunguska event and the 2013 Chelyabinsk meteor.
Siberia.
You got it. This most populous city in the southern hemisphere is Brazil's business capital.
Sao Paulo.
That's right. And this Secretary of State in the 1860s was known for his Alaska folly.
Seward.
You swept it. That's great. You're in the lead with 345 points, and Menlo needs to get all 7 correct to win, so pick a letter, K or N.
K.
K. Here we go. It's the joint stabilized by the anterior cruciate ligament.
Knee.
That is right. Daniel Boone National Forest is located in this bluegrass state.
Kentucky.
That is correct. This Big 12 schools teams are nicknamed the Jayhawks.
Kansas State, maybe? Kansas State?
Your answer?
Kansas State?
No, I'm sorry. It's the University of Kansas, which means that Crystal Springs Uplands wins this game. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. We will see you both next week, and we will see you next week. So tune in. Bye-bye.